The Sigma male is his own team, a one-man band. He is strong, dominant, and above all, confident. He is self-reliant, so he doesn't need anyone or anything, nor a social hierarchy to exist and to assert his dominance. The Sigma knows exactly how to get what he wants, usually pretty quickly and efficiently, using several confidence tricks at the same time. So in this video, we're going to tell you about 7 confidence tricks unique to Sigma males that help him reach his goals and achieve his desires. Number 7. He walks quietly and carries a big stick. We aren't talking in a literal sense here, but a philosophical one that the Sigma male holds, whether consciously or subconsciously, to help inspire him in terms of his confidence. This philosophy of walking quietly and carrying a big stick basically means that the Sigma's dominance is predominant. It precedes him. No matter the situation, with this philosophical view that he holds, then the Sigma male has the confidence to easily dominate if he wants to, without feeling the need to strut around like a peacock like the alpha male is more prone to doing. This behavior comes totally naturally to him. He doesn't have to throw his weight around and assert his dominance at every opportunity he gets, because he is totally confident in his own ability. He isn't pretending to be something he's not in order to cover up deep feelings of insignificance and insecurity on the inside like other male personality types are more likely to do. Number 6. He assumes the position of power. If you've ever heard of power poses, then you'll know that this is a self-improvement hack that suggests that the way you hold your body influences how you feel and how you behave. The idea is by holding yourself in a certain position or pose for a few minutes can affect or change your emotional state, particularly before an interaction which requires a high amount of confidence. It's all about assuming a posture that is mentally associated with power in the hope of feeling and behaving more assertively, so that one can appear more confident than they actually feel. For example, if you imagine a Sigma male when he's being looked to as the leader, the boss, or voice of reason, he will stand up tall and hold himself in a very open yet confident stance. When it's required, he knows which power poses to assume and for what situation, such as for job interviews, job meetings, or even dates. Power posing is a confidence trick that is difficult to pull off, but the Sigma is the only male personality type who knows how to do it well. Number 5. He is aware of his body language and knows how to manage it. The Sigma male is smart, charming, and as it turns out, he has a much better level of self-control than most. He isn't much of a talker by default. He is introverted, quiet, and by nature, he is careful when he speaks and with what words he uses. This translates into how he communicates with his body language too. We communicate with our bodies just as much as we do verbally. The Sigma knows that it's just as important to be aware of what his body is saying as it is his mouth. So the Sigma will go out of his way to consider things like maintaining eye contact and using appropriate and expressive gestures and facial expressions when in conversation. He will avoid closed body language like folding his arms or facing away from someone who's talking to him, no matter the topic. The Sigma is such an expert at controlling his body language that even if he's in a hostile situation, this skill means his opponent won't be able to work out the true feelings or reactions from his intense level of composure. This isn't by some miracle. The Sigma develops traits throughout his life and from repeated exposure to certain situations, which means that he has control over even the most involuntary physiological reactions, like blushing. Number 4. He is a master of his own emotions. The Sigma male is not only great at controlling his body language, but also his own emotions, which makes sense if you think about it. A greater control of emotions should naturally equate to a greater control over your body language and physical reactions. He rarely lets himself get riled up about anything. It certainly takes a lot to rattle the Sigma's cage, even if he's in a bad mood. This means he very seldom lets any negative emotions or insecurities present themselves, making him come across as calm, cool, and collected, even in the tensest of situations. Now, this isn't because the Sigma male is shy, doesn't have emotions, or is even scared to show them. It's simply because he is so confident in his abilities and himself that he can quite easily keep the lid on any strong emotions bubbling under the surface. Not only that, but he knows that being in control of his emotions is one of his most attractive qualities. So instead of letting them sabotage his efforts with women, he will show them only when it feels appropriate and natural. He's comfortable with confrontation as he knows that his calm composure will allow him to come out on top, even if he doesn't manage to diffuse the hostility long before then. Number 3. He follows his intuition. One of the Sigma's confidence tricks comes as the power to read others to a T. He is acutely aware of what's going on in other people's minds by combining his own intuition and observation of a person's body language, facial expressions, and tones of voice. He knows that it's not necessarily what someone says, but how they say it, and he's able to skillfully pick up on these tiny nuances. This ability to read others actually helps in developing his relationships with them, as this intuition allows him to work out what the other person wants to hear, or it helps him sniff out liars and manipulators a mile off. This means that it's very difficult to manipulate a Sigma, and being aware of this just solidifies his natural confidence. Miscommunication or misunderstanding other people isn't something a Sigma male usually has a problem with, and his ability to make others feel comfortable and at ease gives him a great advantage when he has to socialize for business or pleasure. Number 2. He controls the frame. While the Sigma male doesn't seek out to be the leader when it comes to working with groups of people, he easily finds himself in that position down to his natural confidence and quiet dominance. People trust him, they see that his way of working is usually the best, and he leads people in a way that everyone feels respected and treated like equal members of a team. But when put into this position of power, the Sigma male knows that he will be met with resistance, and encounter those who try to bend the power dynamic in order to suit themselves and their own agendas. To combat these situations, the Sigma will use his skill of controlling both his emotions and his body language, including prolonged eye contact and unreactive tone of voice to maintain the edge over his opponent. The indication of a successful leader of a group is with that leader's ability to take any situation and bend it to fit their own frame. For example, maybe he's dealing with other guys rudely interrupting him, or dealing with the friends of a female he's interested in trying to prevent him from getting anywhere with her. But the Sigma is confident enough to be able to maintain the frame of being the ultimate decider, the guy who ultimately decides how that night is going to end, and that's something only a truly confident man can pull off. We've almost reached the end of today's video, but if you've been enjoying yourself so far, then please do us a favor by clicking the like button and sharing this video. Finally, on to number 1. He is an expert, but humble problem solver. The Sigma's ability to quickly make decisions in order to solve problems or challenges instantly puts those around him at ease who are in awe of his confidence and self-assuredness. And it's not as simple as just having the ability to make the decision in the first place, but also to have complete faith and remain certain in that decision and carry it out from beginning to end. But this doesn't mean that the Sigma is arrogant. He might be a great problem solver and fast thinker, but he's also modest and humble. He's able to admit when he's been wrong, and this wins the trust and confidence of his peers even more so than simply being a great leader, and together makes a great blend to confirm his place at the top of the social hierarchy, in the position of total power. It's just that as a Sigma, he doesn't care. He doesn't act the way he does to be validated or recognized by the social group, and will just as easily walk away from a leadership position without giving it a second thought if he decides it's too much trouble than it's worth, or if it no longer serves a purpose for him. And that is the ultimate trick of confidence. Thanks for joining us on today's video. Don't forget to let us know your thoughts on confidence tricks of a Sigma male in the comments section down below.